Welcome to the No New Friends podcast, the podcast for adults who like to laugh at adulting. We are so excited for you to start your No New Friends podcast journey. Now, in the first 20 episodes, we've got old microphones that we kind of pieced together. So our audio is a little bit rough for the first 20 or so episodes. But there are some classic episodes in that first 20 that we reference all throughout our future episodes of the No New Friends podcast. So just bear with us on that audio. I apologize. But it gets better. We get brand new microphones right around episode 20 or so. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of the No New Friends podcast.
And now it's time for the No New Friends podcast with Scott and Mary.
Minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
That's right. You're listening to the No New Friends podcast. I am your host, Scott. With me, as always, my co-host, Mary.
Mary!
You know how to find us. Find us on Facebook at No New Friends Podcast. We're on Instagram, the Insta at no.new.friends.podcast. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, share our YouTube channel, No New Friends Podcast. And please make sure to nominate us on Orlando Weekly's Best of Orlando competition under the category Best Local Color, Best Local Podcast. And on YouTube today, there are two amazing videos. There is Mary's reaction to Game of Thrones, The Red Wedding, and also just hot off the press, Mary's reaction to Joffrey's wedding scene, which we all know, if you've seen Game of Thrones, that is when King Joffrey finally bites the bullet and meets his maker. So we're going to talk about that in a minute, but we have a guest in the house tonight. Yes, I'm very excited about this. He is our babysitter when we drink. Our Broadway enthusiast, first of his name, my son, Darren. Darren, how you doing, man? You're living your best life right now.
Yeah, living my best life, just chilling.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, I texted him and I was like, hey, man, you want to do a park this week or, go to Disney or something? And he's like, well, that's a hard maybe because I'm getting my second vaccination shot next week. I'm like, no, that's a hard no. Completely understand. Let's do it the following week. And he's like, okay, yeah, we'll talk and all that. So I happened to be looking on Find My Friends and I wasn't looking at anything in particular. And I see this little SOBs at Epcot. I'm like, dude, I would have gone with you. This is like yesterday. Like I wasn't doing anything. I would have gone.
Yeah, but sometimes maybe he doesn't want to hang out with his dad. Good God.
I'm cool. Darren, what were you going to say?
So fun fact. So the day after I got my vaccine, I felt fine. We could have done something that day. Yeah. I was a little tired that night, but I was fine the next day. But yesterday I was with my roommate. He was just like, hey, let's go to Disney. And I was like, you know what? Why not? I'm not doing anything. So
dude, good for you. You're living your best life, man. You're eating Airhead Extreme Jolly Ranchers or whatever the hell you're eating.
No, I'm so jealous. I actually really love those.
This kid's got lightsabers and Baby Yodas and Thanos' gauntlet. He's got everything because
I don't have Thanos gauntlet. No Thanos gauntlet, but everything else, yeah.
He just doesn't have any kids holding him back, so he just can do whatever. No, much smarter man than I was.
I've got fur babies. If that
you do have fur babies.
Wait, what fur babies do you have?
Oh, I have a cat. So in my household right now there are 3, potentially maybe 4 soon.
Oh my God, you're a crazy cat lady.
No, I'm not a crazy cat lady. We're a crazy cat household. But I have one cat named Dak, named after Disney's Animal Kingdom.
Okay.
See, I thought it was Dak Prescott,
That's
but Darren
hilarious.
really doesn't like sports ball.
No sports
be
ball.
quiet. Let the man talk.
And then my roommate has 2 cats. One Agent K because he likes Men in Black, and the other one Mr. Mondavarius, which is Mr. Bean's character in Scooby-Doo, the live-action Scooby-Doo movie. Yeah.
Yes,
that is
you're
right.
Lot.
Why do you have to be so witty when it comes to animal names?
Well, that's not me.
My dog's name is Waffles. Like
Mary, that's Gen Z, man. Gen Z, like they get super complicated with their naming and all that.
It's because they're smart.
They are.
They're a lot smarter than we are.
They are a lot smarter. Gen Z is going to save the world. So listen, we have a lot to get to today. Real quick, Mary, what did you think? So we watched a couple episodes since the Red Wedding, which we already recapped, and you're in a much better mood now because King Joffrey has just died. So tell us what you think about Game of Thrones season 4, episode 2, the Joffrey's wedding.
So I feel terrible that I'm happy that a child died. We'll start there, but I'm so happy that he died. And the way he died was exactly
bastard kid.
No, he's such an asshole. He deserved it. And the whole time I was like, does Joffrey make it because I need him to die?
No.
And
okay, hold on. I have to let our audience in on a little secret of what it's like watching Game of Thrones with Mary. Every 5 minutes, does this character live? Does this character make it? Does this character live? Does this character die? How does this character die? So I started telling her for certain characters that are not major, this person makes it to season 8 because season 8 is the last season. So now she's like, do they die before season 8? Do they make it to season 8? We can't go 5 minutes without her asking a damn question. I'm like, how do you know what's going on right now when you haven't stopped talking?
I've been hurt before. Okay. Like I don't want what happened earlier to happen again. I wasn't prepared. And there's like, I allowed myself to love and then I got hurt. And so I'm just protecting myself at this point when it comes to these characters. But I was happy that Joffrey died. I'm trying to figure out who did it. I know that Tyrion did not. But honestly, I don't know who did it. And I could tell when they were like, oh, he's choking. Nah, he's talking. That means he got poisoned. And I was so happy because when you get poisoned, you die. Like there's no fixing that. You can't Heimlich some poison out of your system. And then there goes
Jack.
Okay. This makes for professional podcasting.
Oh, yes. I closed everybody out of my room, so this wouldn't happen on my side.
Jack and I are best friends. I can't help it. Let me let him in though, because I think that's why he's mad.
This is how professional we are, Darren. I've got this nice.
Wait, Mary, wait, hold on, Mary. Are you in his house?
Yeah, I'm at the house.
Yeah, because I wanted her to watch the Red Wedding here, so I could record it. I didn't trust her to record it on her own. And so, we're just kind of making a day of it. And I don't have the setup yet where we can record in the same room. So she just hangs out on the porch.
I'm recording live from the patio now.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That explains the phone and okay.
But we have a real professional setup here. I've got the nice gaming headphones and I'm on my computer. You're on your computer. Mary's on her cell phone with with
my earbuds.
And how many sets of those have you bought since we've started this podcast, Mary? 4 different, because she's not responsible enough to keep track of them. I'm just kidding. I love you. But the thing with her being on her phone. So
that in segment 1 and all of No New Friends podcast.
It's really cute.
You guys enjoyed it.
You've tried to end segments so many times and we just keep going. But because it's on her phone on Zoom, Darren, she can only see the person that's talking. So
so when I'm not talking, she just can't see me at all.
Correct.
Not at all.
So I
wonder if I turn it. No, it does nothing.
There's no way to do it.
No, there's no way to do it on the phone.
Darren, I'll give little cues like 2 minutes left, 1 minute left, wrap it up or whatever. She doesn't see it. So we were on another podcast. It's called the Diz His podcast, Remy's Roundtable. It's so much fun. It's such a good podcast.
We had so much fun.
But there's
Except for I wrecked it.
No, you didn't wreck it. We are so comfortable talking that we just talked the whole time, and we felt bad. We kind of took over, but they loved it, and we love being on there. And I hope that we get invited back again after that. But like Remy, the host, it goes 2 minutes and then 1 minute, and then he's like frantically waving his head, and Mary's just in the middle of a story, just going on and on and on.
It didn't stop. It didn't stop.
So what else do you have to say about Game of Thrones season 4 episode 2 Joffrey's wedding? Anything else there?
I think that just like leading up to all of it, like I just don't know how to feel about a lot of characters. Like Theon, I don't know how to feel about him. Jaime, I want to like him now because I feel like I said before, he's done the hokey pokey and he turned himself around just like the Hound. I feel like he has turned a new leaf, but I don't know. I feel like I can't trust anyone right now.
And that's the beauty part of Game of Thrones.
My neck is going to get sliced at any moment.
And I'm glad
I will end up on a spike.
I'm glad that, and I didn't, going into today, I forgot how soon after the Red Wedding Joffrey's wedding was. So I'm so glad that we could end with that episode instead of just watching the red wedding and ending with that.
Because I would have been a troll all day. I would have been so like sulky.
Exactly.
But at least I can celebrate the death of a child now. It sounds terrible.
Darren, did you have you watched Game of Thrones?
No. I have no interest in it.
I probably. Oh no, it's so good though. I think we've talked about this before.
We've talked about it before, and like you gave me updates as you were watching it. I know how it ends.
Yeah,
don't say
anything. Don't say anything. And Mary's gonna text you. Mary's gonna ask you who lives, who dies. Don't tell her, please.
I have so much power. I know how all of season 8 goes. I have so much power.
You're the power broker.
Absolutely.
Nice. So what's new with you, bud? I don't. Obviously, Darren's my son. Darren got a place of his own. We're so super proud of him. So super excited for him. Back in August. So you've been living your best life. He works in the theme parks. I won't mention which one unless he wants me to. Actually, I think I've mentioned it before. He works at Universal Studios.
It's fine. You have.
Maybe.
Cat's out of the bag. But you're doing well. What's new? Going to the theme parks when you want.
Mm-hmm.
Living your best life, right?
Theme parks they're crazy right now.
Yeah.
Still, is it still spring break?
Yeah, you would no, it is not spring break anymore, and you would think it would calm down after spring break. I went to Epcot yesterday with my roommate. It was wild there. It was so filled, and like I get it, like it's festival. It's I think Flower and Garden right now.
Yeah, it's Flower and Garden. It's my that's my favorite of the food and drink festivals.
It's all right. But it's just
especially after the next 2 segments that we have. Yes, Flower and Garden would be my favorite.
You would think that a Festival of the Arts would be your favorite with that because of the Broadway performers, but
that's true. It's true that Michael James Scott performed this year. He played Genie in the road version of Aladdin. Went to Dr. Phillips High School here in Orlando.
I saw him live at State Thespians. I think my sophomore year of high school. He came because he was going to be in the Australia version of the show.
Correct.
At that point. So
yep.
I think that's the only place that has quicksand, right? Is Australia?
Correct. Yep. 100%.
Darren, let me ask you a question. We talked about this in the last episode. There's a couple things as kids we were taught were like really big deals, really scary, and they turned out like they're not really that big of a deal. The Bermuda Triangle, swimming after you've eaten, and quicksand. Is that something that, like, when you were younger, you learned about or saw in television, the Bermuda Triangle and quicksand? Do you know what the Bermuda Triangle is?
I do know. Yes, I do know what the Bermuda Triangle is.
He's like, I know it because I'm smart, but like,
no, he knows it because he's about to dog on me. Go ahead.
No, I'm not about to dog on you.
Okay.
No. I am about to dog on you. Yes, I did. I forgot the thing. Get the picture. Get the picture. You really got lost in the Bermuda Triangle on that one.
I gotta see if I can maybe splice that video and put it up on our YouTube. I don't want to get into rights violations and all that good stuff. But
you should it. I mean, Nickelodeon's like dead, so like you should be fine.
Nickelodeon's like Joffrey dead.
Oh.
You like that? You like that? So the reason why I brought Darren on today, Darren spent time
because he's our favorite human.
Sometimes when he actually calls me, but no, I appreciate you being on here today, dude. He's our Broadway expert. He spent 4 years in high school in the drama club. Was a national thespian.
National Honor Thespian,
yeah, National Honors Thespian. Won all sorts of awards. Was nominated for the Stars Awards. Is that what they were called?
The Applause Awards.
Applause Awards.
Yes.
Applause.
Yes.
Close.
Well, you're always a star in my heart.
It's true.
But so he always knows. He's always in the know when it comes to Broadway. And the next segment, we're gonna talk a lot about Broadway. So for those of you who love Broadway, you're gonna absolutely love the next segment because there's a new movie coming out in December, and we're gonna talk about that when we come back. You're listening to the No New Friends podcast. We'll be right back.
No New Friends podcast is now using Nikki Podcast Preparations Incorporated.
which is a podcast management consultant agency of services that helps independent podcasts obtain more plays, downloads, guests, sponsors, and a bunch of the legwork behind the microphone when it comes to podcasting. CEO Nick can be contacted via Twitter or Instagram at NickyKeepyINC. And if you tell him that the No New Friends podcast sent you, we'll both get a 25% discount. Nicky has helped accumulate millions upon millions of downloads, tens of thousands of dollars in sponsorships, celebrity guests, and much more. So just shoot him a direct message to get your podcast growing.
Okay, let's be friends. Follow the No New Friends podcast on Facebook and Instagram at No New Friends Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our new YouTube channel, No New Friends Podcast, where you can get a behind-the-scenes look at our recordings, everyday life, and shenanigans. Okay, bye.
Hey, this is Craig Brooks with Tasty Trivia, and you're listening to the No New Friends Podcast.
Welcome back to the No New Friends podcast with Scott and Mary. I am Scott. I'm joined always by my co-host, Mary. You can find us on Facebook, No New Friends Podcast, Instagram, no.new.friends.podcast, our YouTube channel, No New Friends Podcast. Please subscribe and share. There's so much hilarity to it. We've got Mary's reaction to the Red Wedding. We've got Mary's reaction to Joffrey's wedding from Game of Thrones. It's fantastic. And also, please nominate us on Orlando Weekly's Best of Orlando competition under the category Best Local Color, Best Local Podcast. We're joined in virtual studio by my favorite son, Darren.
Only son, yes. Thank you.
Also favorite. I feel like I need to announce now that I could also upload a video of Scott eating string cheese, because it's much like
please don't
wood into a wood chipper.
It's like feeding wood into a wood chipper.
They don't want to see that. They don't want that.
No, in fact, Mary's videos do a hell of a lot better than mine do. So clearly, those are the ones that are going to do well.
Well, I told him that we need to schedule out time today to do TikToks, and I feel like he's been pushing it off. He's like, "Well, we should watch more episodes."
Because now I have to edit. So we've got stuff. Today was going to be. I told you today was going to be a busy day.
Y'all are making TikToks.
Okay, fine. Well, I want him to.
Yeah,
I feel like that would be funny.
That'll probably happen in the 10, 11 o'clock hour this evening. That's when
I'll be awake.
Yes. Oh yeah. After a few, Bud Lights, you'll be that'll be great.
Food lattes.
Food lattes. Sorry.
I can't. Oh, good Lord.
There was one good thing that came out of the Oscars this weekend, and I didn't watch the Oscars. I heard that it was kind of a disaster.
It was horrible. Horrible.
I heard that the in memoriam video that they show was very rushed, very disrespectful.
All right. I want to
chime in there.
Why did they think it was a good idea to do this upbeat, up-tempo song for the in memoriam? It was god awful. I don't know why they did that. Also, Chadwick Boseman was robbed of the Best Actor.
Oh,
yeah. I'm sorry. If someone has passed away, they win their last Oscar opportunity. The Golden Globes got it right. Did you watch the Golden Globes?
I did not watch the Golden Globes.
Golden Globes are fantastic.
Yeah, and they also broke form. The way they do the categories, it's always in a certain order.
I heard that too.
It was very weird. Best director was in the middle of the show.
Yeah,
which that's usually one of the last ones.
But wasn't Best Actress after Best Picture?
They did Best Picture, Best Actress, Best Actor. Which
you always end with Best Actor, or I'm sorry, Best Picture.
I was okay with that for because I was at an Oscars party that night. I was okay with that form. If I thought Chadwick Boseman was going to win that Oscar, so I was like, that's a great way to memorialize him. Yes. Amazing. And then he did not win.
Right. If Chadwick Boseman would have won that Oscar, then yes, have Best Actor be last, because then it's a big deal, because it's not very often that an actor is nominated after their death.
Correct.
Because it came so sudden. We had no idea, and he was working up until his unfortunate and untimely death. But yeah, he did. I don't even know who he was nominated against. All I know is I wanted Chadwick Boseman.
Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins, but he was the one who won. But he didn't even show up to the event. He wasn't even there.
Yeah, he wasn't even there.
He did no.
Sacha Baron Cohen, did he win anything, or Borat win anything for the Oscars?
Borat was nominated for something. I think it was like screenplay or something. I did not win. And then he was in I forget what the name of the movie is. It's a Netflix movie.
He was in the Chicago 7, the trial of the Chicago 7.
He was nominated for supporting actor for that, and he did not win that either.
So he won 2 Golden Globes. He won, I believe it was Best Actor for Borat, and also Best Screenplay for Borat, which was super exciting because usually comedies don't get a lot of love, but especially the second Borat movie with the climate of the country at the time was a lot more than just a comedy. Did you happen to watch the second Borat?
I have not gotten a chance to watch it yet. I did something that's like it's on my list of things. I literally work 24/7.
No, I know you do. Have you watched the first one?
I have watched the first one many times. Cool. Yes.
So after you watch the second one, please let me know, because we follow along a lot of the same political lines, and I'm woke. I'm a hip woke dad.
Oh my God! Don't say that. Can you edit that
automatically
part out?
Woke?
Like, I feel like I don't want you to. It's fine. Go ahead.
So anyway, the atrocity that was the Oscars. There was one redeeming quality to the Oscars, and I'm super excited about it, but they dropped the first teaser trailer to the remake of Steven Spielberg's West Side Story. Darren, what did you think of the trailer?
I cried as soon as it started playing, to be completely honest. West Side Story has been such a big part of my life for God knows how long.
West Side Story is pretty much our family's favorite show. My mom loves it. My sister loves it. I love it. You love it. Rachel loves it. It's just kind of part of us. When I did community theater every summer, I was begging to do West Side Story. My dream role was to play Tony in West Side Story. Now my dream role is Daddy Warbucks and Annie. Times have changed a little bit.
I do have to say, I would love to be in the place that Steven Spielberg is in his career, that he's like, all right, I'm tired of making stupid movies that like nobody wants to see. I'm just going to remake all of my favorite movies.
Yeah,
because that is literally his favorite movie.
Yeah,
and he was like, I'm going to remake it. That's
so. What do you think? What do you think of the casting? I mean, you've seen the trailer, so you can kind of see who plays Tony. And he's a well-known actor. He was in the Divergent series. He was in
Baby Driver.
I haven't seen the Baby Driver, but No Fault of Our Stars or whatever. So he's a very well-known actor. I'm looking up his name right now.
Ansel Elgort.
Thank you. Yes, that's it. That's it. Yeah. So I'm pretty excited about. I think he looks like a Tony.
He looks like a Tony. I'm gonna be very picky. I'm very picky when it comes to musical theater. He is not a singer.
Are they dubbing his voice?
I don't believe they are dubbing his voice. I believe at the Oscars last year he came on as a presenter.
Okay.
And he did a little singing thing. It was awful.
So fun fact though, in the original movie adaptation of West Side Story, Maria's voice was dubbed. Natalie Wood did not sing. Russ Tamblyn also did not sing. The guy who played Iceman in the movie dubbed for Russ Tamblyn.
Yeah, I believe everybody was dubbed.
Except for Rita
Moreno.
Rita Moreno was not dubbed.
Yes.
And it's super exciting. She's going to be in the remake.
She is.
She plays the character of Doc. Well, she plays Doc, but they renamed her to Valentina. She's going to have a larger part. Yeah, larger part.
I'm actually looking at the rest of the casting right now. I am actually, with the exception of him, I am pretty happy with everybody that's been cast. Rachel Zegler, she's an unknown, but she is a very well-trained singer.
Have you seen the videos of her playing Maria in her high school production of West Side Story?
I have not.
I will send you them because they're all over YouTube right now. They are trending on YouTube. Rachel Zegler, who's playing Maria, she's 17 years old. She's an unknown, but this girl's got some chops. She can sing. Oh my gosh, the pipes on her. And then Anita's being played by Ariana DeBose, who was in the original cast of Hamilton. Yeah, she was like the angel of death. Everybody that she touched in Hamilton died.
Referred to as the Bullet. The Bullet. Her character is the Bullet.
The Bullet, yeah. And then there's some... Go ahead.
Fun fact: she did actually replace the Angelica at one point, and she became Angelica Schuyler on Broadway.
And then the chick from Umbrella Academy, number 3, Allison, was also in. She replaced Bullet in the cast of Hamilton, and then also played one of the Schuyler sisters, I believe.
Correct. Yes.
There's some older actors in here also. Officer Krupke is being.
Don't even get me started. Brian Darcy James.
Brian Darcy James, for those of you who don't know, huge Broadway actor. He was in the original Broadway cast of Shrek, played Shrek. So super excited about that. And then also not a very well-known Broadway actor necessarily, but he's had a ton of movie roles. He played the Hornet or the Yellow Jacket in Ant-Man, the original Ant-Man. Corey Stroll is going to be Lieutenant Schrenk. So that was the character's name, the Yellow Jacket, right? Or
fun fact: his name in the movie in Ant-Man is Darren.
Yes, it is. It is Darren. Mm-hmm. Yep. You remember that character, Mary, right?
I'm still here. Yeah. Continue on, guys. It's
Mary's
fine.
not a big she can appreciate Broadway, but she's not a big Broadway buff like you and I are. That's why I had to bring in the big guns for this episode.
You had to. I was in a few plays growing up, but more so dance related roles.
Well, and
I specialize in that.
and that's why, Mary, I think you'd really enjoy West Side Story, because West Side Story is such a dance heavy show, and that's why. In the original 1967 release of the movie, 1961, they had so many actors and actresses that had to have their voices dubbed because they were dancers. They weren't singers. They were either big names, had the right look, and they were dancers. And so that's why.
I appreciate Broadway and I appreciate shows. It's just my knowledge. I know that's where I tap out. Like, I could not tell you who plays and what. I can tell you what I like and maybe do a little remake of a jig and a song, but that's about it.
Okay.
That's where I go.
Fair enough. Darren, I'm going to have to send you, there's a clip. It is a side-by-side comparison. It's the 2021 trailer next to the corresponding scenes from the 1961 version, and it is awesome. It is awesome.
No, I was literally watching the trailer and I was like, this literally looks almost identical.
Oh yeah. The trailer was done beautifully.
Beautifully.
The music, everything. Wait, when I heard those whistles, I was like,
that's when the waterworks happened. Yeah.
Exactly. And then that adaptation of Somewhere incorporated in was just amazing. So
I'm very excited.
In this episode, we're trying to win a Tony. So
yes.
Let's hear what else for West Side Story. I'm hoping that there's other cameos that IMDb hasn't released yet, because there are still other cast members from the 1961 version still alive.
There could be some. I don't anticipate that much. Just knowing Spielberg, I feel like he doesn't want to pull away from his masterpiece too much, but he will. I think there will be some nods to the original.
I hope
61 version.
Yeah,
but I don't think there's going to be like. I don't think they're going to have every single living cast member from the 1961 film.
No, not every single one. Yeah. Now that was the first musical to win Best Picture, right?
I don't want to say you're correct because I don't know.
We're just going to say I'm correct.
All right. Well,
but also Rita Moreno and the guy who played Bernardo, George something or other, were in won Best Supporting Actress and Best Supporting Actor. And fun fact, the guy who played the original Bernardo was also in the original London cast. He was in West Side Story in the original London cast and played Riff, which I find super interesting. Also, if you're a big Christmas buff, he was one of the background dancers in White Christmas. Little fun fact for you. I've been on a West Side Story rabbit hole.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah,
knowing your obsession, your non-obsessive personality. Yeah, you're definitely. This is definitely healthy research.
Non-obsessive. You mean the 42 podcast groups he's joined in the past 48 hours?
You're not wrong, Mary. What was playing when? Do you know what was playing when you arrived at my house? Because when you arrived at my house, I was playing music.
So I arrive at the house and I'm the type of, like, I just waltz in. I don't knock. No need to involve the dogs. Made myself a mimosa and just waited until I heard Scott come trolloping down the stairs, but he was playing music. I have no idea what he was playing because I was more focused on my mimosa.
I was about to say, was he belting?
It was West Side Story. It was America.
Yes. You will try to about that.
When we come back, Darren, I want to get a little insight if there's any Broadway news. I know nothing's performing right now, but things are starting to come back. I want to get an update on the remake of The Music Man. And then also I want to get Darren and Mary's top 5 musicals. You're listening to the No New Friends podcast. We'll be right back. If you're looking to advertise your business or service, please email us at nonewfriendspodcast@yahoo.com. A captive audience is ready to hear what you have to offer. Contact us today. Again, that email is nonewfriendspodcast@yahoo.com.
Hi, this is comedian Miguel Colon, and you're listening to the No New Friends podcast.
Welcome back to the No New Friends podcast. Please make sure that you like and follow us and share us on Facebook, No New Friends Podcast, Instagram, no.new.friends.podcast. Make sure that you like, follow, share, subscribe, whatever the hell it's called, on YouTube, our great YouTube channel where there are videos of Mary's reaction to some very famous scenes from Game of Thrones. No New Friends Podcast on YouTube. Also, please make sure you vote and nominate us on Orlando Weekly's Best of Orlando contest under Best Local Color, Best Local Podcast. We're joined in virtual studio with my son, our Broadway aficionado, and our babysitter when we drink, Darren. And in the last segment, we were talking about the new West Side Story movie that's coming out. You know, Broadway has been on a little bit of a hiatus because of the worldwide pandemic that we've got going on, but things are starting to come back. Darren, do you have any updates? Do you know what's going on? I'm really curious to hear about the remake of The Music Man with what's his face, Wolverine,
Hugh Jackman and
Sutton
Foster.
Right.
Yep.
What's his face? Oh God.
So what's going on with The Music Man? One of my favorites.
So, as you know, the world is still shut down a little bit, especially in New York. There's some light at the end of the tunnel. It looks like they're starting to do rehearsals and things again. Supposedly, The Music Man is supposed to start performances December 20th, 2021. So hopefully that's sometime soon.
Yeah.
I know that there's definitely around the U.S., there's a lot more local theater. I just don't think Broadway is ready to take that step yet to start opening up. There's a lot of but they're doing online Zoom stuff, one-time performances. We actually, I was just with my girlfriend and we went to Lake Eola today, and we found out that the Orlando Shakespeare is doing a production of Little Shop of Horrors in the amphitheater of Lake Eola.
I did see that. I saw that on Facebook. Yeah.
Their set looks phenomenal.
Right.
Because it's just all open. They're working on it. I saw it and was like, all right, well, I guess we're getting tickets for this just to go see it.
And then the Garden Theater in Winter Garden did Godspell. I think they have one more weekend of Godspell coming up.
Yeah, so there's a lot of local theaters coming back, especially here. People are ready to start seeing live theater.
Sure. We won't see a 2021 Tony Awards, correct? There's nothing to really do.
Yeah, because I don't believe there's any shows that have opened. They might do consider these limited runs for Tonys, because they've done that in the past, certain shows. The only one I can think about is the most recent production of Falsettos ran for 2 weeks, and they considered it for best revival for Tonys. So they could do something like that, or they could do what they did last year, and they did a Grease Live, or not Grease Live, a Grease sing-along on ABC.
Gotcha.
Instead of doing the Tonys. Yes, yeah. I was very sad. But,
I did not enjoy that.
So do you think we'll have a 2022 Tony Awards?
Possibly. If there's performances that are with the Music Man, if they're starting to try to gear up for performances December 2021,
it'll be a short run.
I definitely believe most Tony shows don't open until like March or April for Tony season anyway. So if they're starting to open December, then there's the bigger possibility of shows being open by then.
Fair enough. Okay. Now you've been to New York a couple times. What shows have you seen in New York on Broadway?
Oh my gosh.
I know Broadway, you saw Dear Evan Hansen was a big one.
Dear Evan Hansen, yes, saw that on Broadway.
Now, did you see Ben Platt?
Unfortunately, Mr. Platt was long gone before I got there.
Fun fact: the guy playing Riff in the remake of West Side Story was in the original Broadway cast of Dear Evan Hansen. Gotcha. So what else did you see?
I saw the Tony winner band's visit. We saw a lot of plays when we went up there.
You saw the one with Bryan Cranston, right?
The network, yes. He did win a Tony for that.
And then you saw Jake Gyllenhaal too, didn't you?
Jake Gyllenhaal, yes. He was in a show called Seawall of Life. It was basically 2 30-minute monologues that you just sat there and listened to. It was great.
Okay.
Great theater.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Not everything in theater is a hit.
Well, I'm not a big fan of non-musical shows. I don't see them very often. And obviously, when you were in high school, they did one straight play, one musical a year. And the one year you did The Crucible. And that's like an 8-hour show from start to finish, something like that. It's
2 hours.
It's long and it's dark hours. And it's deep and I had no idea what was going. Like Rachel had to kind of tell me what was going on. You were fantastic. I wasn't following along with the show. So then you did this. Then Arsenic and Old Lace.
Arsenic and Old Lace, which
was a really funny one.
It was a dark
comedy, right? But dude, your breakout performance and one of the best shows I've ever seen on stage is a show called Noises Off, which is it's all English comedy. And it takes place. They're performing this play, obviously, but it's a play within a play, and it's a 3-act show. The first act is them rehearsing for the show. The second act, they turn the set around, and it's the behind the scenes of them performing that show. And then the third act is like, after how many runs of that show, and just the different relationships that go on and different things that happen, and it's so funny. When you came out, every nosebleed that you got, and with your pants down, hilarious. Yes. Great show.
One of my favorite shows I've ever done.
Yeah, that was your breakout performance. Now Mary, I'm sorry, we're not going to have time to do Strange News today, so we're going to have to do that on Sunday's show. So we have a lot to get to on Sunday too, because we want to do suggestion of the week. You're going to review Private Parts, and I'm going to review So Dear to My Heart, and then you're also going to give us Strange News. But since we're talking Broadway, Mary, what's your top 5 Broadway shows?
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Or musicals, because you've seen movies, maybe not them on stage.
Yeah, no, look, I suck at this, and I'm going to be honest. Like, I should not even be on this episode. So I will start with my favorite my mom and I both love Phantom of the Opera, and I know that that's very basic, and everybody loves that. I get it.
It's not basic. That's a good one.
It's a good one.
Yeah, Avenue Q. I think that's technically considered like off Broadway, but
no, that was on Broadway.
It was on Broadway. It actually beat Wicked for Tony's for best musical.
Yeah,
Fun fact: do you know what makes a show on Broadway versus off Broadway?
Are you asking me or Mary?
Where it's performed.
Okay, Mary says where it's performed. Darren?
I have no idea.
I know the answer to this. So if you would like me to,
go for it.
The number of seats inside of a theater.
It's the number of seats inside of a theater. There's a certain criteria for Broadway, off-Broadway, and off-Broadway. I think off-Broadway is 50 seats and less. Off-Broadway is 51 to 250 or 400 or something like that. And then over that mark makes it a Broadway show. But yeah, it's the seat numbers because there are some off-Broadway shows that are actually on physical Broadway, and there are some Broadway shows that are off Broadway.
Well, and also like it doesn't affect like the caliber show. For example, when they were workshopping Hamilton, they had it off Broadway. They had it at actually the Public Theater, which is a very well-known theater in New York. They were testing the show there to figure out what worked and what didn't. And then when they knew what worked, they brought it over to Broadway. And
Forbidden Broadway, which is a spoof on all the shows that are currently playing on Broadway. That's always off Broadway, and that's one of the best shows on there. So, Mary, I interrupted. You said Phantom, then you said Avenue Q. You got three more. Can you muscle through those?
Yep, Guys and Dolls.
Okay.
Definitely a favorite. Hamilton, obviously. And then Les Mis, probably.
Interesting. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Darren, your top 5.
All right. Do you want them in like order of like
number
1 to 5?
Do you have if you have them in order, go 5 to 1.
I don't have them in order, but I will save number 1 for last.
Okay, go for it.
Oh my gosh. Number 5, I'll put as Beetlejuice the musical just because it's my recent favorite.
Okay.
I listened to it almost nonstop. Curse you, Music Man, for kicking it out of the theater that it was in. I actually, fun fact, had tickets to go see it before Beetlejuice closed, and then the pandemic happened.
Stupid panoramic. Stupid
panoramic.
Panoramic.
We're taking wide pictures now, Mary.
Have you seen those TikToks where they're like, oh, what are they doing in the middle of a panoramic? In the middle of a pandomio? In the middle of if there's all kinds of things. Anyways, continue on. Yeah, parallelogram.
All right, so next, Darren.
This is gonna be a curveball, but one of my favorites is actually Peter Pan. I hate the Disney movie. Hate it, absolutely hate it.
The cartoon?
Sorry, Kaylee.
It hates you too, Darren.
Yes, the cartoon is not good. But the stage musical, phenomenal.
Is that because of the Peter Pan Live that was on NBC?
That's what introduced me to the show, but that is by far the worst version of that show ever.
It's not great. It's not great. I thought Allison Williams did a good job, though.
She was all right. That's not what makes it the worst part. I think
Christopher Walken was awful.
It needs more cowbell. That's all I gotta say.
Mary, we bought the soundtrack to Peter Pan, and Darren and I. Oh, poor Rachel. If it's not Abby singing, it's Darren or myself at the top of our lungs. And we would try to figure out the harmonies on all of the group numbers. So the song Never Grow Up, I think we played that song 85 times a car ride from Lake Brantley High School to our house, which was about 5 minutes away. We would just sit in the car and play the end over and over and over and over and over again just to get the harmonies right. So it doesn't surprise me that you like that show. So next, after Peter Pan.
This is not in order because this is probably closer to the top for me, but How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying.
Yeah, you love that show. That's your dream role, man.
Always has had a special place in my heart. I would also say Music Man's probably up there for me as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Actually, a new is that 5? How many was that?
I think so, but give it. I know you were holding on to your number one.
My number one. Can you guess the number one?
Hamilton.
Dear
Evan Hansen.
No, it's Little Shop of
Little
Horrors.
Shop. Yeah, I know.
Sorry, you dropped the ball. You dropped the ball on that one. Yeah.
Well, dude, it's been like 3 years since I've talked to you.
That's all right. Correct.
So let me start with my honorable mentions. I've got a couple, and Hamilton's on there because the shows that I have ahead of Hamilton are just shows that I've known for a lot longer than Hamilton. So
You've never even liked Hamilton. You did not like it until Disney Plus happened.
You're not wrong.
Until Disney Plus happened.
Darren would overplay the soundtrack, and I got so annoyed with Hamilton. I was like, this is terrible. No. Then we went to go see Hamilton, and I didn't hate it, but I wasn't like, I didn't have the reaction that my wife and my sister and Darren had. Somehow, in between when we saw it on stage and when it came out on Disney Plus, I became very, very familiar with the music. And I have watched that thing on Disney Plus probably about 96 times. It's amazing. It's on my honorable mention list as one of my favorites. I would go see that one again. For sure.
I can't wait until it comes back here because it will come back here at one point.
And I will love it and appreciate it much more. I've got Annie on my honorable mention list. I love Annie.
Yeah.
Sound of Music. Sound of Music is on my honorable mention. Love Sound of Music. The Broadway show is better than the movie, with the exception of they don't have the Lonely Goat Herd in the original Broadway song, or the original Broadway soundtrack. Little Shop of Horrors is also in my honorable mention. I love that show, love that movie, love that. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so number 5, I've got The Music Man. Absolutely love The Music Man. The harmonies, the story, the music, love that show. My number 4 would be Phantom of the Opera. Now, Phantom of the Opera should be my number 1, but I've seen that thing on stage 5 times, plus the movie, and the movie was not great with Gerard Butler, was not fantastic. Darren, have you seen that movie?
Yeah, I think I own that movie. I like it. I'm sorry that you don't.
It's just like Gerard Butler was not very good. He wasn't Michael Crawford.
Well, nobody's Michael Crawford except Michael Crawford.
You're right. You're right. Mary, have you seen the? Go ahead, Darren. Sorry.
I was just about. He just was too old to play him at that point. He would have if he was not.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Mary, have you seen the movie Phantom of the Opera?
I own it.
Okay, perfect. All right, so that's my number 4. My number 3. Miss Saigon. Now,
of course, I knew it.
Miss Saigon.
Yes.
We had 3rd or 4th row tickets for March 30th, 2020, and everything got canceled.
The dang panorama, the parallelogram.
That show has not been here in Orlando since I was a kid, and it's one of my favorites. The music is fantastic. I can still hit some of those notes that Chris sings in Why God Why. I have to take a deep breath,
needs to kick you
and I have to be really loud. Yeah, exactly. I can't do the falsetto anymore, but the big belting ones I can still do. Darren, you've heard me, and you'll be back on Hamilton. I can hit the belting notes. I can't hit the falsetto notes. Anyway, go to hell.
That's smoking. That's smoking for you.
Right. Number two is West Side Story, and I love the movie. The movie is unbelievable, and I like it on stage in a smaller setting. I don't like it at the I wouldn't like it at Dr. Phillips because it's just too big. That's more of an intimate show setting, like an intimate setting show for me. My number 1 is Wicked. I absolutely love Wicked.
Where's the end call button?
So fun fact, I've never actually seen Wicked.
I know. That'll be our next Best Friends Day. We'll watch it on YouTube. Darren, you're just gonna have to show me how to send me the link.
It's not great.
I have.
There's a reason why it didn't win the Tony.
I mean, you're officially disowned.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm surprised that Once on This Island isn't on your list.
I like Once on This Island. Once on This Island.
You do like Once on This Island.
I do like it. Yeah, it should have probably been. I mean, there's so many on my honorable mention because so many shows that I've been in that I that are special to me because I've been in them or because you've been in them or my sister's been in them. Yeah, I mean, I could have gone on for forever and ever.
We could literally talk about this for
I know. So we're gonna have to have you on again, Darren. We'll do a more Broadway panel. We'll have some more Broadway enthusiasts. It just hit me like we didn't have much time to plan this episode and I wanted to, this is like Thursday's episode, so I wanted to jump into it real quick because I wanted, while it was fresh in my mind and I was still obsessing over the previews, I wanted to knock this out. And I knew you were off today. What do you have going on? Anything exciting this week? Just working, right?
Work, yeah. If you want to try to find me at Universal and Island of Adventure in Jurassic Park on Friday, good luck.
Ayo.
You're in Jurassic Park on Friday?
Yeah, not working.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Smoking section, Darren.
Oh no, is it employee preview? It's employee preview, isn't it?
Oh.
He can't say he signed an NDA. He can't say it. He can't say. Well, that's exciting. Can you bring a guest?
The scoop after.
Are you able to bring a guest? Damn it!
You're not going to be his guest anyway.
I know he would definitely pick someone else. But anyway,
probably. I don't know.
All right, cool. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, No New Friends Podcast. We're on Instagram, no.new.friends.podcast. Like and subscribe. Share us on YouTube, No New Friends Podcast. Also, please, very important, go to OrlandoWeekly.com. Best of Orlando competition under the category Best Local Color. Please nominate us for Best Local Podcast. And we will be back on Sunday night.
Bye.
Okay, bye.